Maurice Nicol's Psychological Commentaries, Volume 3, based on Nicol's work with Gurdjieff, Ouspensky, and Carl Jung. February 14th, 1948, Commentary on Habits. Work idea. One man, by work on himself, can change others, and others change others, and so on. But if all people are asleep, if no one understands what to do to change themselves, then all things will go on in the only way they can do, deterministically. Now, in return to the thinking center or intellectual center, and to question the thinking in a new way, man was created and created as an experiment in self-evolution. We reflect. When we hear that life on this planet is not in our interest unless we try to awaken, we reflect. When we hear that we are mechanical people and belong to the circle of Babel, we reflect. When we hear that unless we change ourselves, everything will remain the same, we reflect. When we hear that our level of being attracts our life, we reflect. When we hear that if we remain as we are, everything will repeat itself just as it did before, we reflect. Do you, for instance, want to live the same life over and over again? The work says if you change nothing in yourself, your life will endlessly repeat. When you hear that on having any mental contact with the work and trying to make out for yourself what it is about, and so altering your previous so-called thinking, you may begin to alter your position in the totality of things. You reflect. To reflect means to bend your thinking back to yourself. Consider your life. Do you want things different, or do you want the recurrence of the same things? Everything repeats as winter and summer. If you remain the same, you will experience the same. Surely you can see that from this day to day. But the work says it refers also to life after life, because everything is as a circle and everything repeats. Now, when you begin to reflect in this way, you begin to think for yourself. And this is the starting point of self-change. You begin to become responsible for what you are. You begin to see that if you make no effort to change something of yourself, everything will repeat day after day and life by life. You have seen a propaganda child? You cannot change it. It has fixed ideas. If one reflects on this, one begins to think in a new way. That is, one begins to think for oneself. Unless you yourself work on yourself, you will have the same over and over again. Do you wish this? I would say in my case, no. Then what can possibly aid me? If I still internally consider, if I still submit myself to negative states without any struggle, if I identify with everything and every thought and mood, then I certainly will not understand my life and its meaning on this earth. So I add, reflect on what this work teaches, because only by reflecting privately, only by reflecting privately will it enter your mind and alter your mind, and that is, this thinking in a new way opens to each of you the possibility of changing your being. Retain the same mental attitudes, the same prejudices, the same unchallenged viewpoints, the same fixed ideas and opinions, and you cannot change anything in yourself. The mind must first change. Hence it is said, repent, special word, not necessarily brought forward from the old to today correctly, but that is the starting point. That is, change of mind must come before you can become a different man or a different woman. Now, all this talk is about intellectual center and changing it. For the work teaches that unless you begin to think in a new way, you can alter nothing and everything will go as before. This work, intellectually, gives you the right thoughts and the ideas that can connect you with higher centers. That is, make you receptive to another permanent, ancient, older truth. But do not for a moment think that is all. But do not for a moment think that that is all. You must begin to not only have right thinking, right knowledge, but right being. What is right being? Being is different from truth. Being is just like this. Good equal goodwill. Will belongs to being. What is charity? Charity in the Greek equal grace, graciousness. In the Gospel of John, it is said of Christ, and quote, and we beheld him full of grace and truth, end quote. Notice grace comes first. Just take your fanatical truth, people, and reflect.